the number one thing, as Diane mentioned, is to not let AI do your job for you, right? So think of it as your superpower, but you are the one that kind of makes the decision on whether to use what it says or not. So don't 100% trust what comes out of it, especially for anything that has some sort of liability compliance or health sort of implication, right? I think of it as a directional assistant, but I need to read through it. I need to think through like what I actually want to share with others. And that's really important. AI is only as good as the data that feeds it, right? So in the case of ChatGPT, it's been fed off the internet, and the internet has a lot of biases, right? And so while they continue to try to make it better, and so does Google and others, the reality is it has biases. So don't assume that the data is perfect. And then if you're ever going to create your own AI model, think really deeply about the representation of that data, kind of make sure the data you're using is representative of the problem you're trying to solve. Otherwise, it'll create output that doesn't make any sense. I'll give you an example on that real quick. We did a project for a client that was trying to use a camera on a phone to measure the respiration rate of an individual through their veins, right? So you could take a picture of your veins and it would say, hey, your respiration rate is 98%. Well, it's all based on colors, right? And so all the images that they gave us to train this model was of a Caucasian male, right? And they went to clinical trials and they started, testing it on people of different colors. And obviously it had lots of problems. It was a big, big problem. So they didn't think about representative data when they were preparing to train this model. So it's really important to think about representative, unbiased data when you're training models. The other thing is, these things are black boxes. So like, there's no way to kind of deconstruct how it made decisions. And that could be really scary. So if you're in an area where you want to apply a model and you need to understand how the model made the decision, there are specific algorithms that are transparent. You have to be aware of that. And the other one, this is probably the top one, is the companies like ChatGPT, as soon as you give them things, they have your data. Now they'll tell you that they're not going to use their data, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if you have sensitive data, you should never upload it to these systems. There are options for you to take these same sort of systems and put them on your own computers so they don't get outside of your company. So again, sensitive information, be really, really careful. What I tend to do with sensitive information is I anonymize it and maybe even dilute it a bit if I want some advice. But I'm really cautious not to put anything up there that can be tied back to an individual or create any sort of problem.